a situation at this particular time in this century where there is a 68% increase in people 75 and over going into our healthcare system. They're the baby boomers. Right now, there's a ratio of 8-to-1 for workers. It's going to drop off to 4-to-1. We're in a situation that is compromising everything that happens. And that's really what you read in the newspaper, isn't it? There's nothing really good about what's going on. Well, today, in the little handout that I've given you, I want you to recognize that when you take this home and you have a look at it, there may be some suggestions as to how to move through in a more positive way. Did anybody read it when I sent it out in the email? And did you have that thought of, what am I going to need this for? It doesn't matter who you are, because do you have a loved one? Do you have a parent? Do you have a grandparent? Do you have a friend who something has happened, and where they've had, what has happened is they'd have to go into the hospital? So I will tell you, the minute that you go into the hospital, the most important piece of going into the hospital is leaving the hospital. It's called a discharge plan. And from the little note that I put on front of you, you'll see that there is a team, there is a physician, there is a nurse, there is different groups of people that are going to move you through the system. Now, if you go into the healthcare system and you go into a hospital, the younger you are, the better off you are. The older you are, the worse off you are. Because what happens is once you're in there, you go downhill like a lead balloon. You're not moving. You're not doing anything really. And what happens is, unless you have somebody there to support you. Now let's say you have somebody who has a fall and they're young. It's much different than when they're older. But let's say you love your granny a whole bunch and mom and dad can't make it to the hospital, and you're going to be that advocate for that individual. So you go there, and right away they're going to start peppering you with questions. The first thing they're going to ask is, what medications is this person on? And you're going to look and go, I don't know. And I would suggest to you that each and every one of you has a little document in your wallet that talks about the medications that you're on. And not just medications, it's supplements too. If you smoke pot, if you're a drinker, all those things profoundly affect your ability to be able to move through that system in a way that is going to be productive for you rather than counterproductive. As you move through the system, there's going to be decisions that have to be made. Well, let's use the example of Granny. So is Granny, who broke a hip, is she going to be able to go home? Well, first off, you're going to need some rehabilitation for her. Is she going to go home? Well, no, she's got a 3-story house that she can't go to. So who's going to look after her? And has anybody here had to take Granny to the bathroom yet? That is an experience that you want to leave until you possibly don't have to do it. There are things there that will support you. There's community health that will work with you to keep that person in their home. The next step is something called assisted living. And in assisted living, you have to be able to care for yourself, and you go down and you meet other people in the same situation you are, and you have meals. Once the next step comes along, it's long-term care. The average length of stay in long-term care is about 1.5 years. So if you have a granny and they go into long-term care, make sure you go and see them.